Hi guys, by popular request today I'll be sharing with you the method I use for training my dog's basic cues. It's pretty straightforward and simple, but training does take time and different dogs learn at different speeds, so you really have to be committed if you want to see those results. Before training begins, you can make things much easier for yourself by teaching your dog what a marker is. Markers can be anything from commercially bought clickers to a marker word such as yes. You can find lots of videos online showing you how to teach your dog about markers and how to use them effectively. It's also a good idea to exercise your dog before a training session, especially if you have a high energy breed, as this helps them to be more focused. There are 3 really important things to remember with early training. First, capture the desired behaviour as soon as it happens. Second, mark the behaviour with a marker word or click. And third, make sure you reward your dog when they do something right. Never try to force your dog into a position, get angry or scold them for doing it wrong, as this will make training much harder, confuse your dog and make them less likely to learn. It can even poison the cue word so your dog will no longer respond to it. Training should be a positive game for both of you. If you find yourself getting frustrated, just walk away and try again later. Sometimes it can feel like you aren't making any progress, but keep practicing and your dog will eventually catch on. I recommend keeping each training session down to about 10 minutes, as many dogs will start to get bored and lose focus after this. You can do a couple of sessions every day and more than one trick can be practiced in a single session. While your dog is learning a new cue, you should be in a quiet area free of distractions like other people and animals. In this example, you can see how I taught my dog Rodney the basic sit cue. This same method can be applied to many different basic behaviours. When we started, I didn't apply a cue word straight away, as I wanted to make sure Rodney understood exactly what action I was looking for and what would be rewarded. I lured him into the sitting position by placing a treat above his head, and every time he sat, I would mark the action with a high-pitched yes. Yes! I also use a clicker for training, but when I don't have it on hand, the yes marker is just as useful. Once he got the idea of exactly what I was looking for, I added in the cue word. For Rodney, this was the word perch, since we'd already taught sit to our other dog. Perch. Yes! When choosing a cue, it's important you pick a word that doesn't sound like other cues and is not used too often in day-to-day conversation. When saying the cue, don't make the common mistake of dragging it out. For example, sit should simply be said sit, not sit, as many people do. The cue should be said the moment your dog performs the action. This helps with association. Once the dog has demonstrated the correct behaviour, mark the action and reward it. Eventually, and with enough practice, you'll be able to put the cue word before the action. On your belly. Good boy. Perch. Good boy. If your dog doesn't respond straight away, don't repeat the cue over and over, as this will cause the word to lose meaning with your dog. Instead, give them a moment to respond, or lure them into the position with a treat. Mark the behaviour and reward. On your belly. Good boy. If your dog repeatedly ignores you, go back a step and keep practicing until they're ready to try again. Practice as often as possible in a quiet, distraction-free environment before taking your dog outside to train. The outside world can be very distracting for a dog, so begin in a quiet outdoor area and slowly work your way up to the busier areas. Distraction training is very important and something a lot of people forget to do. If you want to set your dog up to succeed, you need to eventually practice around distractions. There's no set amount of time for a dog to learn a new cue, and there's no real end to training. You should be continuously training and practicing cues throughout your dog's life. If your dog goes for a long period of time without having practiced a particular cue, it is possible for them to forget it and need retraining. Although retraining usually doesn't take as long, it is something you should want to avoid, so make sure you practice regularly. Most cues can be practiced in everyday routine, such as asking your dog to do something before giving them their food. This is a great time to practice the leave it or wait cues. When walking your dog, you can ask them to sit or lie down every time you stop or before walking through a door. Once a cue has been learned, you can wean your dog off food rewards and replace them with simple praise. Those are all of my tips for basic dog training. Hopefully they will be helpful to you, and I highly recommend, if you're serious about training your dog, you check out some of the awesome dog training channels on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up. You can also share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!